Hey guys, we are here living the authentic life with this sassy, fabulous woman, Chita Craft. And look, she even has the graphic blouse on. Do you ever wear cheetah print?
Of course I do. I have to. And you know, my mom's cheetah.
Okay, 5 generations.
5
of
generations.
That gives me chills. I just love anything that has meaning that's passed on.
I do
too. And I think it has to be so special for your daughter.
Hopefully she recognizes that. You know, she's only 3, but yes, she should. I know.
So do you have a nickname for her? Like, how does that work when all the cheetahs are in the house together?
Oh my goodness. You know what? So when she was born, we would always call her baby cheetah. And then probably maybe 6 months ago, she started saying, I am not a baby. So I'm like, oh, okay, just cheetah. All right, you're just cheetah. That's right, big girl cheetah. So I don't know. Now we're going to have to think something, but we all kind of call her a little something different. I'll call her my cheetah bonita, or, you know, just little fun. Sometimes I call her my little teeny tiny. She's tiny. So all the things, but.
Okay. Yes. And is she girly and...
She is so girly. If she came here to your shop, she would just be pulling things off the shelf. Yes.
Oh my God.
She wants all the things.
Okay, well,
all the dolls, all the jewelry.
We'll have her come
hide your jewelry.
Yes, and you and her could pick out your favorite items. It would be so fun.
She is a lot. Oh yeah, she is. Talk about sass. You know, she is all sass. I don't even think I was like that when I was her age. I think I had more tomboy. She is like I think she takes a lot after her aunt, Lane's sister. She's beautiful and she's so fun.
Oh, funny.
Anyway,
okay, and what about your son? So we have one boy that came in one day and he really wanted a Louis Vuitton Speedy, and he was like such a boy's boy.
Whoa.
And the mom was like,
okay,
his dad would die if I bought him the Speedy bag, so we're gonna leave that here. But is your son into football and baseball?
All the things.
Like, is he very boy? And
he is very boyish. He is very competitive. We are working on that. He's 6, and he loves all sports. But I tell you what, you know, he dresses actually very well. He puts his own outfits together.
Wow.
He has to have the matching hat and shoe. Oh yes, it's like a thing.
I love it.
So actually, he would probably do well here too.
Exactly. He could try on watches. We have stuff for the boys.
We do need that.
Okay, and you were saying that you guys got to go to the game yesterday.
Yes. I mean...
And this is taped a little, we're going to have this air a little bit later.
Okay.
It was the Texans game against...
the Steelers.
Okay, and we won.
And we won, which was amazing. I know, and we won big. Yes. And the stadium was packed. That was really cool to honor JJ. And so we did a little meet and greet. But no, my son, my husband, they love sports. And then my daughter likes snacks. You know, she's there for like the popcorn.
And probably also
and cotton candy. I don't know.
A pom-pom.
Of course, yes. And yes, all of the things.
Because it's all about the swag.
It is.
We just went and watched the CU game this weekend against, I don't even remember who. And I was just excited about the swag, and I didn't even go there. I was like, I want to take all this home, but what am I going to do when I get it home? I don't even know. Okay, but your real passion in life that we all know you as is superb meteorologist, waking people up in the morning with the weather.
That is true.
The most difficult job on the news because it has the biggest change. Although this summer it was pretty consistent.
This summer was pretty brutal. I know, it really was. This summer.
Do people ever blame you?
Oh, I definitely think they give me dirty looks, you know, and I don't blame them.
Hot. Why is it so hot, Cheetah? You're like, talk to him.
I know. I know. All of my neighbors are like, look at our yards. I'm like, I know.
It's not my fault.
I know. It's true. But it has. I mean, so I moved to Houston in 2011, which was the worst drought and the most consecutive triple-digit days that Houston has ever had, and Dallas and Austin and really the whole state of Texas.
Wow.
This summer comes right behind 2011. And that was like compared to the Dust Bowl era. So it was, I mean, you have to go deep in the records, but it is about to turn the corner. You know, we're getting a front on Thursday, and then I don't know when this will air, but Thursday, and then we have one behind it. And once we get like these cold fronts coming in, of course it's good for our temperatures and the rain, but also good for hurricane season. You know, that really helps to kind of steer them on out. So anyway, it's always kind of like the beginning of fall, the closing of our summer here, even though we are already in fall. It's October.
I know.
But
it's hard to bring out the boots and the sweaters.
I know.
At least we have air conditioning here.
I agree. Yeah, I know sometimes it's almost colder inside. Have you noticed that? Like in the summer, it's like you're outside and then it's 100 and then you get inside and then you're shivering.
You have to wear a jacket.
I know.
Okay, so Rob, I think, secretly wanted to be a meteorologist.
Oh, I love it.
He follows the weather, and anytime there's a hurricane, you think there's like hurricane people out there that
do I think? I know. Are you kidding me? Everyone is a minor meteorologist now. Everyone.
Know. He's like, oh, the weather today. He's like, did you see? I'm like, why would I look? I've got you. Tell me. I don't even have to watch Cheetah. I just want to see what she's wearing.
I know. No, really. Everyone has like a minor right now in meteorology. But you know what? It's fun. It's like when you connect to someone with fashion. Don't you love that? They speak your language. You're like, I like you. We talk about the same thing.
Exactly. I know he's like the pressure zone. Da, da, da. I'm like, dude, you lost me at pressure. I'm just not even following it. Okay, but you've seriously done some really tough news with weather.
We have.
I mean, most significantly, I would feel that it was the freeze was so dramatic.
2021.
And then, of course, Harvey.
Of course. And then really even going back, okay, so of course, Harvey, the freeze of 2021, the light freeze of 2022, but even for that, all of the floods in 2016, the Tax Day floods, the Memorial Day floods, the 4th of July flood. I mean, it seemed like in 2016, every single holiday, we had a flood. And then the drought of 2011, all the wildfires. That's when I moved here across Bass Strip. I mean, we have had from 2011 through last year, we had a series of events. Then the tornado last year across Deer Park. I mean, an EF3.
It was so sad.
Oh, it was awful. And, truly, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, the fact that, yes, homes were torn down, but no one was injured. No one. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, it could have been, an EF3 could have done a lot more in a really flat area like that. I mean, I was shocked. We've had plenty of reports of like an EF0, an EF1, but since I've been here, we haven't had anything like that. So that was, so every year, I mean, there's some type of weather event that kind of goes down on a record. Now, so far, like this past summer, we've had a really quiet summer. It's just been about the heat and the drought and the never ending.
It seems like the first thing any person ever spoke about all summer when you saw someone. It was like, hi, it's so hot. How are you?
And we know.
Hi, it's so hot. I'm having a hard time because it's so hot.
And it's like in Houston, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid in July and August.
Like,
but this summer was brutal. It was.
Okay, so is it a cycle? Is there something to cycles of weather?
Well, a lot, when you talk about, let's say, like the currents in the ocean, that has a big impact on land. So let's say the ocean temperatures are warmer than average, that can bring on, let's say, like more rain across the Pacific Northwest, which then impacts us. So if we're in an El Nino trend, where you hear about that, like the cycles of El Nino, La Nina, how that happens, and that impacts across the country. It has impacts. So when the Pacific Northwest gets more rain and colder temperatures, that eventually shifts our way. Now, this summer in particular, we were just stuck under this big heat dome, and we just...
But not even Houston. Was it the whole...
it was the entire... Well, it was the entire... most of Texas. Yeah. And I mean, I guess portions of Oklahoma and Louisiana and that sort of thing. But we just really got stuck in the same pattern. It was really tough to break. But again, it's expected to change. But yeah, if we're trending El Nino, I mean, that should bring on more rain, cooler temperatures, as we trend a little closer, let's say, to like the winter months. That's what the big forecast is. But I really got, my background is the day-to-day forecasting.
Okay.
That's really what a meteorologist is. And so that's really what I focus in on.
Not as much on like the overall trend, which you say is about climatology.
Yes. And that's more of like a 30-year study, a 10 to a 30-year period.
Okay.
But yes, which, and a lot of that still has a lot to take account. We are keeping such great records now.
Right. Whereas before, like, who was really recording how much rain it was, and was it accurate? And
Correct.
And then the Farmer's Almanac, like, do you guys even use that anymore?
You know, I do look at it, but I really
Okay.
like to look at just about anything. I get these online journals, probably like you subscribe to all the different fashion things, you know, it's like, you got to stay current in your world. So I do like to read, but you're right. I mean, my day-to-day forecasts, but I will still look ahead for, you know, 100%, you know.
So should someone plan their wedding outside based upon the Farmer's Almanac? I think I know the answer. No! Don't ever plan an outside wedding.
Don't ever. I mean, really though. In Houston, especially.
Because if you're going to plan something outside, it's going to rain. Or just wash your car. It'll rain for 2 minutes.
We went last spring to, I have to tell this out. We went to this wedding in Memphis last spring. It flooded so bad. It was at the bride's grandmother's house. It was awful. Anyway, I'm like, why? In the South, you cannot plan an outdoor wedding.
No.
You just have all the things. But anyway, yeah.
But I heard, I did Google some information about you, and Culture Map said your wedding was the wedding.
Oh, yes, that's right. 2016.
Girl, hello.
And let me tell you what's funny about my wedding.
What?
Okay, I recently actually met someone at an event. I think you were there too. It was a luncheon. But anyways, she was like, do you know we have the same anniversary? We got married on the same day.
Oh.
June 4th, 2016. She said, when I heard your date, she said, I'm going to pick that date. I'm sure Cheetah will have the best weather on her wedding. If there's anybody who's going to have the best weather, it's going to be Cheetah. Now, I planned it a year out. Are you kidding? You know, I mean, it was literally a year, 12 months out.
Oh my God, that makes me
I picked
cry.
the date.
That's hilarious.
And do you know, June 4th, 2016, it was supposed to flood. Like, I'm talking about not drivable roads, flood. Luckily, all the forecasts were wrong. We barely got a drizzle in the morning, and that was it. The clouds even broke. I mean, it was like the most awful forecast. But you know what? It did not flood. Everybody was able to fly in. And she's like, I'm going to forgive you. It's okay. So anyways, I did get married. I mean, the wedding we had it at River Oaks Country Club, so it was all indoors. And then at St. Luke's Methodist. And it was beautiful. We got lucky. It was beautiful. But it was indoors. I would never, even doing what I do, I would never plan an outdoor wedding in Houston. Never.
It's a tricky one.
But it was fun. We had everybody there.
The people that you love the most. Yes. Okay. So many young girls out there look at our jobs and they're like, oh, I just want to play with handbags and fashion all day. I just want to be on TV. Mm-hmm. But the amount of time that we really get to play with handbags or be on TV is like, there's so much work in it.
There is.
What do you think was were there some outlier moments? Did you read Malcolm Gladwell's outlier moment? Like, how did you end up in this really coveted space? Okay,
I truly believe internships are the way to go.
Oh,
because the only way you really know what someone deals with every day, they're really every moment, not just kind of like the spots you want to see, is by interning and sitting with them and truly seeing like what they're doing each little minute of their day. So in college, I took advantage of every internship I possibly could. Wow. I grew up in Southern California. I was born in Knoxville, so I had a little bit of the South, so I have dealt with some weather in the past. But growing up in California, no. But I always loved, in fact, my high school yearbook, I was reminded of this on my 20-year reunion. They said, do you remember I wrote, the next time you see me, I'm going to be telling you the weather. So in high school,
you knew that, girl.
I did. So I'm telling you, like I've done a lot to be where I am. Yes. But I actually wanted to do this in high school, even in California. Now in college, through my internships, I kind of weaved in and out. Like at first, I really wanted to go into sports communication.
Okay.
And so I actually interned with ESPN, and it was so much travel. And I knew that wasn't for me. I'm like, this is a lot of travel. And this is like 2003, 2004. And
so women were coming into that realm, but it wasn't as...
No. You know what? In fact, there weren't that many. We were, in fact, Erin Andrews, it was her very first year, and I interned with her on West Coast baseball games. First time, yes, she was brand new on the scene, and it was so cool. 2003, women, I mean, it was few and far between. Yes. Few and far between. There were regulations.
It was only women who had maybe played sports and been in...
Correct.
something that realm, not...
We were not supposed to go into locker rooms. There were just so many more regulations than there are now, 100%. But with my internships, because there weren't that many women, I did get to do a lot. That was cool. So I interned in LA as well. And then really through internships, I started on the weekends interning with their meteorologist. And I'm like, I love this. So that's when I switched majors from sports communication to meteorology, to science. Like I have my bachelor's of science in meteorology. So I could really focus and kind of fine tune the background. And that's what really helped. It really did. I mean, it makes a very big difference. So I actually went to Mississippi State on campus for my bachelor's of science, but I really knew all along, I think. I mean, I truly do. I think that I was meant, and so I don't think this work ever scared me or bothered me, where I've had other interns that are like, oh my gosh, you have to be here at 4 a.m. You know, that's crazy. You know, it weeds people out. Certain parts of it, just like I'm sure the business side of, you know, all your things. So yeah, but no, I've loved it all along, I guess.
Okay, so you meet your husband and you start dating. And you're like, by the way, I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I mean, how did that go over on the first date?
I know.
I gotta be up at 3 to go to work. I mean, that's a thing.
My husband and I were set up. He
already knew what you did.
He did, but not to the extent. Kind of like you're saying. In fact, our first date, I said I need an early dinner. He made a 7 o'clock reservation.
You're like,
he
babe,
did.
I am taking my makeup off at 7.
So I went, of course I went. And no, I loved Lane from the very beginning. But when we went out, I'm like, I made this work. But yeah, in the future, I'm more of like a 5 o'clock girl. I know.
Exactly. I know. That's what I told Rob. We're eating with the blue hairs now.
I know, we do. Oh, yes. And then once you factor in a 3 and a 6-year-old, we're definitely with the blue. But yes.
Oh my God.
But you always have to
how
live.
is that? Did you take time off to be a stay-at-home mom for a hot minute?
For, I guess, 3 months, you know, just a normal maternity leave, basically. And I, you know, with my son, I think that the first baby, I mean, it was a shock. And
isn't it?
It's a shock. It's hard. It is hard. I mean,
no one told me I can't brush my teeth till 10:30. Because Bella had colic and she would wake up crying. Every time she woke up, she was crying. So if you want them to stop crying, you hold them.
Yes. Oh.
And you feed them.
And
you burp them. And you walk around doing this all the time.
Oh, I know. Oh, it is. Nobody, you know what, seriously, nobody talked about that. They talk about the blessing, the magical, and it is. But it's so hard and such a shock to your core. I didn't grow up babysitting or around babies. I was the first one in my family to have a baby.
And your family doesn't live in Houston?
No, they're in California, but they did come.
They came.
They did.
Okay,
yes,
good.
my mom is amazing, but still, you know,
it's so hard.
You think you're going to have this just like, yes, it's so hard. I know. So I was actually ready to go back to work. I was excited.
Me too.
With my daughter, it was tough because that second baby, you know, it's a little, you kind of know what to expect. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And you're like, oh, they could cry a little bit and it'll be fine.
I know.
You'll be more independent for that.
And for my daughter, the snoo was out. That snoo, that's a game changer.
Know what that is.
Oh, let me tell you, it is a, oh my goodness, not a crib, but, you know, a bassinet that it moves with sound. So right when the baby cries, it's just like that. And then you swaddle them. It has a built-in swaddle. Built-in swaddle. You don't even have to swaddle a baby. Built-in swaddle. And it moves, or it stops if the baby's sleeping. So that way it doesn't get used to the motion.
Changed my life.
No, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. It is.
Yeah, because of the reflex thing, she had to be like vibrating or moving or straight up. Wow.
Game change. So, yes. So, but going back with my daughter was different. And then listen to this. So, right after 3 months of maternity leave, I go back one day, and the next day, Tom Hanks gets diagnosed with COVID, and the entire world shut down. No. So, I had been inside with a baby for 3 months. It was okay. It was okay. I got my weight off. I was looking real good, too. And then I go back to work, feeling great, tip-top. And Tom Hanks, yes, I'll never forget. I was sitting at Katsuya, having sushi, thinking everything was amazing. We get the text. I had just gone back to work. That was my first day. Tom Hanks gets diagnosed with COVID because my daughter was born December 9th of 2019. And so March, when I went back, you know, in rodeo, remember?
Oh, it was like rodeo shut down.
It was like fifth night of rodeo and it was kaput. So that's when I went back. That was my first day back to work. And
so did you work remote or you went in?
I actually did go in the studio. They were so great. So KHOU quickly dispersed everyone back to their homes. They kept one person in the main studio, one person in our upstairs studio.
Okay.
And then the night side would alternate. And but I actually did stay in the studio. I did.
Because you needed to physically be there.
I did. And I also think it was kind of the season of my life too, with like a newborn, and my son was almost 3 years old. So, or maybe just turned 3 years old. That's right. Cause he's a March 3rd. But anyways, he, yes. So some people did have full green screen setups at their house with cameras. Some people had a teleprompter in their home. Yes. I mean, all of the things, but for the most part, I did.
For you, it was better to be in a quiet
space
that you could work.
And in the morning show, it is such a big part of the show, weather is, that if your signal drops, if there's something that goes wrong.
Oh, God, we've learned so much about just even in our little world here. Like, it's a deal. So did you watch the morning show? Are you watching the morning show?
I've watched the morning show. I love the morning show. I am obsessed with the morning show. They did such a good job.
Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston. I mean, it's so good. Is it real?
There are so many real elements that it's almost shocking.
It feels like it's real.
It feels very real when you watch it. Yes, 100%. Now, I know that they say that it's not. You know, I'm sure, have you heard some of their off-camera interviews? But the way they structured it, as far as like the flow of their day, she gets up, the routine, 100% real. 100. Yes.
So
there's a lot of things that I am like, I identify with that.
So have you ever, do you ever meet people by being at the morning show that you're like starstruck? Has there ever been anyone? Like we were talking about JJ, so respected.
Of course.
Like, do you sometimes just go, I can't believe this is my life?
Okay.
There's moments I do that.
Of course. Are you kidding me? Yes. I mean, so A Great Day Houston is right after our show. And they are
Deborah and I are super close. Love her.
Isn't she amazing?
Yes.
I know. She's so talented.
Icon. Yes.
She is. She really is. I know. And even before Houston, the show that she had in Dallas. I mean, she has done everything.
Yes.
But so she pulls so many guests that we will see that we're like, oh, that's so you know, yes, of course, you know, and different things that you host that I know all the time. I'm blown away. So it is. No, it's a really special job. I am always honored that I have it, but there is a lot of work. I mean, like you were saying, yes, sometimes you see the most glamorous side when you only see like that highlight reel of your day or the highlight reel of your life, you know, but there is a lot of behind the scenes.
So there are other people that look at the same thing you look at and you decide together as a team? Are there ever days where you're like, I'm going to say it's going to rain. And someone else is like, I don't think it's going to rain. And you're like, well, we're going to say it's going to rain.
It is 1,000% collab. It is. It is a total collaboration.
Because we like talk about what we're going to do next. Like, I can't imagine going, is it going to rain today? Everyone's counting on me.
It is. Oh, trust me. Oh, I know. Oh, I know the feeling. Yes, especially, I love to play competitive tennis. My kids are on all these after school. There's nothing like Little League when they're like, is it going to rain or not? You know, and I'm like, the pressure of Little League. I don't know, but yes, the pressure's on. And news brings out a type A type personality, right? Yes. Because everyone has an opinion, and that's why we're in the industry. We care. Yes. We think we know. So, of course, there's definitely times where you may have an opinion, someone else may have another opinion, but that's kind of the team effort. And we have such a great team. There's a trust component with everybody there. So usually we're like, okay, we'll split the difference. How about that? You know, if someone's highly opinionated. But then all of a sudden, if you're only working by yourself, you're like overruled. Exactly. I get to say, so yeah, of course, when you're putting your own forecast together, it's your own. So.
It is. And I feel like Houston hasn't been, or I'm going to say it in a positive way. Houston has not experienced a lot of the same difficulties with, we were talking about the safety of our building.
Right.
Our city came together when we, instead of having riots here, we were all like coming together over things.
I agree.
We, when we had natural disasters, we would all come together. We were talking on Saturday about the Cajun Navy.
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
Yes,
like
they are.
They come in and helped everybody, and together we came through as a community. And you've a big part of this Me Too movement, I think, came from women in media, and in a lot of it was Fox News, and there was even a movie about that, I think, with was it Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, or I
don't even remember who it was, but it seems like we're not as caught up as other cities, like maybe New York or something. Have you found that? I mean, certainly I'm not asking you to tell deep, dark secrets, but I feel like as women in business that there have been more rights for women and more rights for female minorities and different people to come up throughout the ranks. Have you seen? I completely
agree.
That?
Now, I will say, I was telling previously before I really got into meteorology in the sports world.
Yes, 100%. That was difficult.
2002, 2003, 2004. That
Absolutely.
was
closed doors.
That was a
not welcome.
That's right. That's 100%.
Get out of here.
That's true. Now, besides,
yeah, I mean, basically, it was.
It was really tough. It was. But now I will say the path that I've taken, and I had no connections in this industry. Mm-hmm. There wasn't anyone.
A phone call made to a parent's friend.
Nothing.
You just did it.
I knew no one who was even a person on television who was a reporter or an anchor or a meteorologist. There were literally no connections that I had. And I have not had an issue. I'm sure, like you said, you only know what goes on in front of your face. But I haven't experienced anything. But I definitely feel that this place, in time, and especially the work environment that I have, no, I think that everyone is so accepting, and it's more about welcoming and kind of embracing differences, because it really does add another level of thinking. Mm-hmm. A different way that you may not think connects with someone else.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's kind of nice to have that on a team. But yeah, with Me Too movement, I mean, you're right. There has been so much change in the industry altogether, but I do think there's always been a respect level from the place that I have stood. Now, I'm sure other people would have a bunch of other stories to tell, but within the weather department, yeah, we may disagree on this or that, or we may have different personalities, but
it's not the conflict like on the morning show about, are we going to run something about abortion, or are we going to talk about these other things?
I know, and that is tough. I mean, news is tough, because when you're talking about news and you're telling what's going on in your community, I mean, different people are going to value different things. People are going to see things different ways, and that's the hard part. It's been, I think, the hard part from the very beginning. It's all of the community coming together, and you're all watching something, and everybody's taking something different away.
Because of all their experiences that brought them to this place.
It's true.
Because we all have these things that brought us to where we are. But Houston being so diverse, I think it really has changed the mindset of everyone connecting in a different way. I don't know. It just feels different.
When you were saying, like, even with the Cajun Navy, I definitely think that Houston has always been a welcoming city.
Yes,
I mean, even moving here in
friendly.
2011, I was so shocked. I was so ready to get hate mail. I was so ready to get all these things. And I have heard it all. Don't worry. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm like, not what, you don't need to send it or anything.
Yeah,
but
you're like, don't tell me.
It's not a offer to tell me. But no, I mean, it is a welcoming city. And I definitely think this is a city of people wanting to come together. I mean, you have, it's a city where people are like, okay, I want to get out, make the most of my day, get to work, feel good about their community. And I think that's why it's easy to move here. We have so many people moving here. And I think because it's a great city for a life of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in Houston. It's kind of the city, you make it what it is.
Yes.
If people that I know that have not liked Houston and could not wait to get out, they really didn't. They kind of sat in their apartment and said, okay.
And expected it to come
right.
to them.
But
Exactly.
I definitely think it's a city of what you make it, but it is a city of opportunity. What I have seen, this city comes together on fun the events to celebrate, parades, the Astros, the Texans, all of our sports, concerts, music, food. There's a lot to offer. But I think even tough times that we've experienced through weather or community, I even if you completely disagree with someone, I feel like the city handles it the best that they can. I mean, I know that you see the news and there are always sad stories and hard things that happen.
Yes.
But that is life, and that is what happens. But for the most part, I do think in comparison to a lot of big cities,
yes,
we do come together and we know how to show our best side. I do. But I don't know. I do like to always live on a hopeful side,
I know. And it's so much of life is perspective.
It is.
And about how we move from that place. You've been given numerous awards for what you've done in the city. And most recently, I read about something you received in August as one of the most influential
That's
female
right. Oh,
custodians.
yes. Top 30.
Girl.
Yes.
So tell us about that, because it goes so much more than the weather.
Oh,
and your
my goodness.
platform and what you do and how you connect with people.
When I moved in 2011, it was easy to connect. And I tell you, when you start to either help in all different ways. I'm talking from emceeing or volunteering or, of course, any financial aid you can give. You really start to learn more about different people. And you're like, wow, you have this kind of going on your plate that's heavy.
Yes.
And then you hear about their plate and you're like, wow, that's so heavy.
Yes.
So I have learned a lot. I mean, constantly I'm still blown away when I either attend events or help different organizations that I just, sometimes you don't know the need until you really listen. But that's also part of what I love about news too. I definitely think that as a station, we do a great job of trying to find those stories to help lift up and kind of advocate for. And that's what a lot of organizations, so I do help as much as I can. I do. I mean, even my husband and I, every year we try to pick a charity that we're like, okay, this year we're going to learn more, help this way, kind of dive into a little bit more. I haven't every year specifically focused on one. I mean, in the station that I worked for before I moved to Houston in California, I worked for an ABC affiliate and I really helped United Way. And then when I moved to Houston, I really started learning about so many different charities, some small, some big, some national, some local. And I guess that's just kind of what I've done,
So Heroes
I think
for
there's
Children,
purpose.
I think that was something you've consistently been connected with.
I do. I love Heroes for Children. I do.
So my story with that is I was brought in the very first year they came to Houston, which was 2006, and I was pregnant with Bella.
Aww.
And then when Bella was 6, my godchild was diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma. So I had been brought in because of my connection with handbags, because we raised money by donating handbags to help families with kids with cancer. And then I found out, it was what I call God winks, that you're in this place because you've heard about it, but then you have no idea, I went to New York once a month for 18 months to sit with my friend while she was in the hospital with her 6-year-old getting chemo. And you think you're having a bad day in Houston, but then you're there and you're like, wow. And these are people with means, but you still don't have emotionally what you need or physically what you need. So it is a way to have so much perspective. You've also, I read about, you were giving, I think there was something about reading for the Final Four. What was that?
My goodness. Yes, that was so special that the NCAA actually started this in 2016 in Houston. And it's a way to promote third grade literacy. And really, third grade is the cutoff. I've learned a lot. See, all this stuff, I'm like, wow, I can't even, every year I learn so much about a different organization, but third grade is the cutoff that really kind of starts to draw the line of reading. And reading, kids, statistically it shows, you really get in a lot less trouble later on in life if you can read. And third grade is the base for that. And so the NCAA comes in and they make all of these fun challenges for third graders across the city to promote reading. So we would go to different schools and be a part of those programs. And teachers, the community, they were like, their testing was so much better.
Wow.
Their grades were so much better. And they were even reading, they said, like, even if it wasn't reading in, let's say, a book, the math teachers are like, they're actually reading the problem solving better. It would trickle into other areas, but statistics have shown that that's kind of the cutoff where it really benefits them later in life. So it's like that third grade marker where it can really like set them up. So you may think, oh, you know, they're young, like they've got plenty of time. But it all starts young. So
I've heard like if these kids have like dyslexia or ADHD and they're not picking up, I guess it's mostly dyslexia on the reading, that also inhibits like their whole trajectory. And then sometimes they're acting out in class and then they're disinterested and then they're going to detention hall. Like
it has a trickle down
cycle.
But see, I wouldn't even know all about this unless I had volunteered.
And you would think these are bad kids.
Yep.
They're not bad kids. They're kids that are left behind that if we pull them forward, we can make so much more
100%
of a significance.
I mean, even this year, I volunteered with the Houston Food Bank, and I wanted to bring my son, and I learned so much about the food statistics that we have across the city. And I was so shocked of how many students who are just, you know, in classrooms with your kids that go home and they don't know where their next meal is going to be.
Right. The only meal they get is at school. And then when schools closed for COVID, kids' meals did a big part of that too, was getting the food to these kids.
They do so much. Yes.
Because then they weren't eating because they weren't in school.
Right.
Which just doesn't even compute.
I know. So I know, but it takes you to somehow connect with organizations to learn about them and the need. You know, sometimes it's like volunteering, sometimes it is financial, sometimes it is helping them raise, you know, it's, but you don't know unless you know. So every year I'm constantly blown away about something. I'm like, okay, didn't know all this was going on.
So what's next on your calendar? What things are coming up?
What is coming up on our calendar?
Well, hurricane season.
I don't know. We're crossing that one off. We got a cold front on Thursday. No, thankfully we're saying goodbye to that. No, I'm, you know, really, I love fall. I think that it's like such a great transition.
And are you a big holiday person?
I love the holidays.
Halloween and then we basically put Halloween away and then go directly to Christmas.
So do we. Well, my daughter's birthday is December 9th and mine is Christmas Eve. So let me tell you.
Exactly.
The holidays are on. Yes, exactly. But, you know, I wasn't a big Halloween person, but having kids love. They love the spooky. They love any decorations.
Exactly.
And if it is like a tiny little dot on the calendar, it's like, oh, we don't have to decorate.
So do y'all dress up at the station? Is that a thing?
Well, no, I mean, it is hard because sometimes you can have really hard news. So that's a little difficult, you know. If you knew that day you were going to wake up and everybody's going to behave and everything was going to be just right, then maybe not. Things happen. So it's tough. That is tough. But now, can you have fun? Of course. Yes,
like,
you know.
Put on the witch's hat for
yeah,
and then pass it off.
Or do like a fun story or something. But I don't know if we're going to like, you know, be completely dressed up on television. I don't know. Maybe depending on the day. We'll see.
Well, I think it's so incredible. I was telling you earlier, I love meeting people that I think come alive. And you are someone that I feel like comes alive.
Well, you too. It's easy. You know, you do attract energy. I do love that. Yes, you do. I feel like everyone always around you is like so fun and vivacious, and that speaks to you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You just attract.
But I feel like we were sharing before just some of the hard things we've been through, and I feel like when you go through hard things and you figure out how, this is a Texas saying, how to pull yourself up from your bootstraps and how to show up and do the work in the midst of the pain or in the midst of the struggle, that then we have compassion for other people's struggles. We realize, we were saying that when we share a little bit, then other people share, and we all know we're all just doing the best we can, and we're struggling to be the best mom we can, but be the best meteorologist or the best handbag watch source and being part of the community. And it's just, we're all just doing the best we can.
I know. Isn't that the truth? It is. And then you can get wrapped up into your own little world and then you're like, oh yeah, what are you doing? I know. But it is a struggle, but that's kind of what makes it beautiful. You know, every now and then it's like you look around at your chaos and you're like, it's fun.
It is. I know. Bella was telling us yesterday, she's like, our family's so dysfunctional. We were like, we are, but we think most families are dysfunctional.
You tell Bella, yesterday, our family was leaving Carrabba's, and I told my husband, I said, what do other families do on this Sunday? I'm like, we are so crazy. I know. It's like every family thinks they're so crazy. I know. And we all are.
We all are. I think crazy can be good.
I know. Me too. I know. I mean, it's just how life is. But I do think it's important that you do show up, you know. I mean, you show up for the people that you love.
Yes.
And that's what's important, you know.
Well, we appreciate you showing up every day for us and telling us what you think the weather will be.
I know. I do love it. I really do. We have a great team and we do have a lot of fun. But
I think that's what people want, right? Is they want to engage with people that make them feel emotion.
They do. You're 100%
and
right.
People that I meet that follow us and are following so much less than yours, but my favorite comment and what I get the most is, when I watch you, I feel good. And sometimes when I turn you on, I just want to look at what you're doing because you make me laugh.
I love that.
I think that's amazing because I feel like so many relationships with people are transactional.
Yes.
And I just want to be connected with people.
Do you know what? That is what I love about weather. I love if somebody can see me at the grocery store and they're like, Cheetah, my son's birthday's on Saturday. What's the weather gonna be? I'm like, you're good to go. It's gonna be sunny and hot. You know, I love that. I love on the morning, if you think you tune in, and obviously we have hard stories, you know, life is life. I love to feel like I'm a bright spot too. I mean, sometimes obviously there's fog or rain, hello. But I mean, I do love that too. I love that connection with people.
The fog and the rain.
I know.
We can't really know the joy without the heart. And we're going to love our fall because we have wanted her.
I know. People are going to be outside and be like, oh,
yes, we're going to have so much gratitude. Well, we have gratitude for you girls, so thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was amazing. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm so thankful I'm here.
Yay. All right. Well, we'll be living the authentic life. Check her out. KHOU, Channel 11 in the morning.